And there's a little jazz boy who goes to church every Sunday, Saturday, and Wednesday. He doesn't really like all the apostles, but he says, hey, I'm Benne.
Paul, Simon, Peter, Simon. Those are the apostles that I like. I don't like David. I don't like Chris. I don't like Kevin. Those are the apostles that I do not like.
They all have abs. It makes me jealous. But then sometimes I think maybe I should not eat a bagel every morning. Every afternoon, and also 3 for dinner. Yeah, that's 5 bagels a day, which equals like 25 pieces of bread. That's my whole meal. I don't eat any protein or vegetables. Maybe that's why I only have a 4-pack of abs. Yep, not a 12-pack like all the apostles. They're so hot. Yeah.
1 pack per apostle. That's 12 packs per apostle.
All the hot apostles. More like hot apostles. More like hot apostles. Hot apostles. Yeah. My dad's name is Jennifer.
That's not true.
Are you recording?
Yeah.
All right, let's do this.
Hey guys, welcome to the Meet Cute, where we talk about all things romantic comedy, but mostly the bad ones. I'm Haley.
I'm Zach.
And I'm Edward.
We wish you a merry meet cute.
We wish you a merry meet cute. We wish you a merry meet cute and a happy meet cute.
Cute.
It's the Christmas episode. We had a few other Christmas movies this month, but because this one is actually airing on Christmas Eve, that makes it the Christmas episode, right?
Oh, it's airing on Christmas Eve?
Yeah.
How delightful.
Hey, it's Christmas Eve right now, everyone.
Happy Christmas.
Can you hear him? Can you hear Father Christmas right now?
Here, listen.
Above us? Oh, the cops want that naughty man.
It's a day early. You can't be flying around.
Hold on, let's wait for it to die.
Oh, whoa, Haley.
You
want the entire police department to die? You heard it here first.
My roommate sent me a video this morning of like 8 helicopters flying towards the Bronx. So something's going down today.
Jeez.
Today, Christmas Eve.
It's like the prophecy foretold. So what movie are we doing for Christmas? Well, we had a listener reach out to us. Shout out to Lindsay. She said, hey, y'all, love you guys so much. Have a suggestion for December. The Holiday with Cameron Diaz and Kate Winslet would be perfect. She said, it's way too long with way too much filler, and there's way more Cameron Diaz than Kate Winslet, even though they're supposed to be counterparts. Mm-hmm. While watching it, I felt exactly like Haley explained, when you remember liking something back in the day, and then you watch it, and you think, wow, I was naive. It's not my fault. So we said, that sounds pretty good. I think that's right up our alley, so thank you, Lindsay, for the suggestion. We did watch The Holiday, and that's the movie we're doing for Christmas.
So we did indeed watch The Holiday, the 2006 comedy, written, produced, and directed by Nancy Myers. Ooh, starring...
Is she someone...
Wait, who is that?
She's like a big, like, romance kind
Twilight?
of woman. Yes, I believe so. Wait, no, she's not. I'm a big fat liar.
Yeah, I was half joking, and then when you said yes, I was like, oh, boy.
Someone else. Stephanie Myers?
Well, yeah, someone else definitely wrote it, but...
There's Myers. Anyway, she wrote...
She wrote What Women Want.
Yes, What Women
AKA...
Want, The Parent Trap, Something's Gotta Give, It's Complicated, and The Intern.
Wow.
Did you gloss over The Parent Trap? Like, did you just be
I started with that.
Okay.
The Parent Trap being the best one, right?
Well, The Holiday is much worse than The Parent Trap.
The Parent Trap is a great movie, and I will stand by that.
I think Twilight's probably her best work. if I had to...
I like the ones where it's Twilight, but it's from Edward's perspective. Remember when they did that?
Can you just edit that Wikipedia page to say that she wrote Twilight?
And then keep doing it.
Yeah, every day.
They take it off.
You know, it's funny. I'm seeing cast crossover now that I'm looking at all of the films together. And like bit roles. I'm thinking like bit roles. Like It's Complicated. John Krasinski was in. Not to spoil it, but John Krasinski has 2 lines in this movie.
Yep.
Lindsay Lohan, The Parent Trap. So she obviously had a relationship with her, and she has a small cameo in this movie.
Interesting.
Oh, I forgot about that.
So
yeah.
clearly you want to get on Nancy Meyer's good side if you want some extra cashola.
For a
Ooh.
little bit of work, I guess. Yeah.
So why don't we just get into the holiday? This one thing that Lindsay was very correct about is that this is a long movie.
Oh
Yep.
my God, it was so long.
This is Marvel's The Holiday because it's long.
So long, and it covers so many characters.
Yeah, I didn't know that Nancy Myers is how you spell Christopher Nolan. Am I right?
It's two different universes, but that's okay.
Yeah,
we'll keep going.
Yeah, we're having fun.
So this movie stars Cameron Diaz, Kate Winslet, Jack Black, and Jude Law. So an ambitious crossover event for those 4 characters.
You usually anchor their own films, but today they go on a little holiday from the norm, if you will.
So let's just start on it, yeah?
Yeah.
So it opens with characters kissing in a film. We zoom away, we pan out, and it's Jack Black scoring a film where the characters are kissing for so long.
So long.
So
yeah.
long. Did you notice that?
Yeah.
Such a long time kissing.
But as they panned out, the first thing I wrote was, Jack Black is kind of a babe.
And I wrote, is Jack Black cute? Let's discuss.
He looked good. He was like calm, which I feel like Jack Black is just like...
He's always just like, I've had 2 shots of espresso.
He's like a puppy that needs like CBD oil. But
Yeah.
he's like... In this, he just looked like, yeah, I've got enough rest this week.
Now, yes, I wrote something not similar, but in the same vein. I was like, Jack Black is writing classic music for like the movie. That's a departure from his normal role. And then the movie went on, and I was like, oh, that's him.
I love Jack Black, though. And like, I watch Jack Black so I can see him do his Jack Black thing, which we'll get to. But like, I don't know, if I saw a movie with Jack Black and he did something totally different, I don't know if I'd want to watch it.
I like in King Kong where he teaches King Kong how to do the School of Rock secret handshake.
He goes,
Let's
now
rock,
you're big.
let's rock today."
You're definitely on base, buddy. I like how at the end of King Kong, he's the one who says, "'Twas beauty killed the beast." And it's like, you're Jack Black.
Yeah.
I just wish someone in the back, like I know it's like the 20s, but I wish someone in the back would be like, "That's Jack Black." And then we fade to black.
Fade out.
There's
yeah.
something charming about Jack Black. Now, he's
yeah,
obviously
yeah.
not like conventionally cute, but like,
This movie could have fooled you.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, but also like, I don't know, he's the guy that like pretty girls would definitely date, even though he's not like hot.
No, yeah, and it helps that he was well dressed in this movie. And
Yeah.
he wasn't in like Kevin Smith shorts. And
Now-
Hockey jersey.
yeah,
Now we cut to we also see Jude Law for like a second, right? It's just
Maybe
like a
two.
quick.
Oh, right.
That's the thing. The Jack Black pan, very cute. It just had him scoring a movie and him referencing what I assume is his girlfriend, and that cuts away. Then we cut to Jude Law very quickly, and I don't even remember what he was doing.
he was at a bar. I think he was flirting with a lady at a bar.
And they just showed him. Now Jude Law is cute.
Jude Law, I would watch him kill somebody, and I would help him cover up the murder. So Jude, if you're listening, I'll watch you in anything. Anyway, let's go. Let's go on. Let's
So we have
gloss over
this.
that.
We have this opening voiceover monologue, and it is so depressing. It's,
Yeah, really.
It's like not fun at all. It is Kate Winslet discussing the fact that there's lots of different types of love, but her big issue is that she's got unrequited love with this boss character. Is he a boss, or is he just a co-writer at her newspaper?
I think he's a fellow journalist or
Yeah,
author
I
Which,
think
of
there's
course,
different
she's a
levels,
journalist.
but yeah.
who never takes a vacation,
Yeah.
which they make a point of.
I think they say that. Yeah.
Yeah,
You never take a vacation.
which we'll get to it, but I have a bit of a plot hole there.
Excellent.
And we'll talk about it.
I love plot holes. Yeah, she has this opening monologue that's very long about how like it's just some love is unrequited and what about us? We're so sad, blah 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 blah. And she's like, at one point in the monologue, she's talking and her throat starts closing up, and I swear to God, she starts like vomiting in the voiceover. She's like, there he is.
She had botulism that day, but they needed to get that voiceover in.
So then there's this friend who just like gives exposition.
Oh yeah, do they ever show up
No.
ever again?
No, never again does she
You can
show up.
practically see like the little list in her hand of like, what do I gotta push? What's here?
So her friend is just helping us give us the exposition that Kate Winslet, whose name is Iris, and her coworker used to shag, and then she found out he was also hooking up with someone else in the paper. Yeah.
At the paper, yeah.
At the paper, yeah. In the paper.
And it's their holiday party.
Yes.
And she's working away, and the guy who she used to shag comes in and is like, I got you a present. It's like a sexy red number. It's in the car. Mm-hmm. And he's like flirting with her and like, oh, you're my rock. I need you to read all my stuff, blah, blah, blah. And she's like, oh, this guy, maybe we'll end up together. I really love him. She goes outside, and the boss of the paper is like, hey, I have a surprise for everyone. 2 of our writers are engaged. Come on out. Jasper and his new fiance.
And Jasper is the name of the guy she's in love with.
Guy.
For some reason, he's gross.
Yeah, that's what
awful.
I wrote. I wrote a lot. A, his name is Jasper. B, he looks like an alligator. And he
looks like an alligator named Jasper.
Right, exactly. Like a children's book alligator.
Yeah. He was probably my favorite. Let me put it this way. Hated him so much. A lot of my notes are how much I hate him, but I think because of all that, he was probably the best villain in a rom-com I've seen since we started this podcast.
Also a very realistic
toxic guy
like, that we
awful.
don't see really in romantic comedies.
Yeah, he's just trying to like have his cake and eat it too with Kate Winslet. He's like, I'll keep you around for like emotional support.
Yeah,
because it's always like, you work too much, so that's why I cheated on you.
Right.
But this was like, I'm gonna fuck with you.
Yeah.
It's like, ugh. That's bad. You're bad.
And she's so sweet. She gets him this like really kind present that I don't know. It's a throwaway detail, but whatever.
It's a book, and he goes first edition, and there's nothing on the book.
Yeah,
it
you
is
have no
a blue
idea what
book,
the book is.
and they just I don't know. They could have written anything. It's fine.
It did make me like roll my eyes because it started off with she's a journalist and she's giving her journalist boyfriend a first edition book of something. I feel like that's been in that's like a trope. I feel like
also
that's been in a lot of things.
Books are dumb gifts. Fuck books.
You got me books.
yeah, you like them.
So this guy sucks. So she has to hold it together at the party, and it cuts to her walking back home to this beautiful cottage, and then she starts crying hysterically. And the cottage is called Rose Hill Cottage, which I want to name my home.
I love how English people name their homes.
I love it.
I love that.
So we cut to Cameron Diaz in L.A.
She works too much, you guys.
Yeah.
Cameron Diaz, she's a film trailer editor. She works too much. Her boyfriend is Edward Burns. He's sleeping on the couch because he had a sex with his secretary.
He had a sex with his secretary.
Just one.
And she's like throwing shoes at him, and it's just like, just admit it. And he's like, no. And then they go outside, and he's like, you screw up every relationship you've ever been in. That's what you do.
Because you like editing too much.
Right. You can't cry.
Yeah, she can't cry.
That is a big point that when he said it, I was like, oh, surely it'll come back.
Oh, yeah.
Because this Charlie Day sounding motherfucker was like, you can't even cry.
Can you imagine if it was Charlie Day
I
with
wish.
Cameron Diaz?
That'd be way better. But who is this guy?
Edward Burns. I think he's kind of fallen off the face of the earth a little bit in terms of acting, but I think he directs a lot now.
Oh, okay. Well, he sounded like Charlie Day for some reason. So we were like, oh, this crying thing will obviously come back. And then I got real excited because Catherine Hahn to the rescue, but then she virtually disappears.
Catherine Hahn and John Krasinski.
Yeah.
Yes.
They're like her editing team. John Krasinski's wearing John Kerry for president shirt.
And he has his like pre-season 4 The Office hair, which is so stupid, and
you could tell if you
it.
fast forward to that character now, he would just be like a Bernie shirt.
Yeah.
And same dude.
That's just them at work, just like editing a trailer. It was really like, we didn't need the scene because we're talking about this movie was 2 hours and 15 minutes. Like, I would like to make suggestions of what could go. This scene could have gone.
And it was all Diaz scenes that could go.
Yes.
And it wasn't like a funny scene. It's not like you're like, oh, that hoot of a John Krasinski side character.
Right.
No.
He was just a realistic young white Los Angeles editorial assistant.
They
That's
all
true.
were, and Catherine Hahn was just in the room. It was literally just to show that she edits, and we're like, oh, we didn't believe you when you talked about it, so I guess we have to see it now too.
Yeah, and she said, oh, I think I might take a vacation. And they both said, like, oh, that's funny. You never take vacations. Which one person could have done.
Right.
Anyway.
I think they showed the scene just because they had James Franco and Lindsay Lohan acting in a fake movie of the trailer she was editing, and they probably just didn't want to cut that because they thought it was funny.
James Franco was not nearly as famous during the time, which is very interesting to note. So to have him be like, he's the lead in this, blah, 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 felt like kind of an arbitrary choice.
Right.
Yeah. But don't worry. Cameron Diaz decides she needs to go on vacation. And now this might be my favorite part of the movie.
This is my favorite because it's impossible. This
was a lot.
Oh, the fact first off, she just like goes on the internet and she's like, where to go? And she talks for the whole time she's looking through the internet and just narrates her browsing of the internet. And I was kind of hoping the whole movie would just be her searching through the internet being like, worryfreevacations.com. No, I can't go there. Where do they speak English? England? Where? Sussex? Gross.
She at one point she says, Bora Bora? Kayak for one. Kayaks are for one person.
Also, she Googles vacation spots in quotes.
Yeah, she
was
did.
that a thing you had to do? Like, she puts quotation marks around.
I remember in
spots.
middle school we were told to do that, and then we would have to like add the plus sign so that everything could be included.
But what would happen if you didn't?
The same thing that happens these days with Google. Nothing.
A hand
Nothing
reaches
different.
out and goes, "You've made a grave mistake." And pulls her in, and then the credits roll.
So Cameron Diaz lands on a page for Cute Little Cottage in England. Where was it?
Surrey,
in Surrey, England. And it looked very cute, and we recognize it as Rose Hill Cottage. And then we cut to Kate Winslet, who is has her head trying to breathe in tea kettle.
Yeah, she's gonna kill herself.
Yes.
tea kettle fumes.
Tea kettle fumes.
Shut up.
AKA gas.
No, tea kettle fumes would be what? Just like the tea out of the teapot.
That sounds
Yeah.
adorable.
That
Yeah,
sounds
exactly.
sweet. It's just like
She's having a nice night.
yeah.
Yeah, she has a moment when she's like, maybe
That's actually
I'll-
just trying to get rid of her like sinus infection.
Yeah, it's a natty pot. Yeah, she starts to breathe in. Then she's like, "What am I doing?"
Which, yeah, don't kill yourself over a dumb Jasper. Fucking Jasper.
So then she gets the message. She comes over, and if you look closely, the first message is like, "Hey, I'm interested in renting your place." The second one is, "Are you there?" And then the third is like, "I'm serious." Blah blah blah. And it's like, have a little patience, Cameron Diaz, to be like, "I'm interested in renting." Hello.
Excuse me. Fine, I won't.
You're essentially sending her an email.
I know we're in different time zones, but get with it.
It's so because the background of her computer, it was the main screen of her computer because there were files on it and everything, and then it just popped up like a house-shaped window
Yeah.
with the messages.
Now, they start typing back and forth. They have the loudest keyboards in their
Oh,
respective countries.
So
I was
clickety
Click,
clack.
click,
Thinking
clack,
about,
clack.
I kind of missed that.
It was actually like something about it was a little soothing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But
exactly.
it was loud. Here's where my plot hole comes in. So she puts the house up. It's on this website, and she says, "I only do home exchange. So you rent my house and car and yada yada, and I rent yours." But if she never takes a vacation, they say she hasn't taken a vacation in 4 years. Why does she have her home up on this home exchange site if she has no intention of being someone who takes vacations?
The only thing I could think of is sort of like
Like an Airbnb situation where
Well-
maybe she'd want to like go stay with her brother.
maybe or something like maybe she was more adventurous a few years ago and she was like, I'll set this up, and then hasn't had
Yeah.
takers until now.
The
or
Airbnb
something.
thing doesn't make sense because she says specifically it's only for
Then
home
she doesn't-
exchange.
Yeah.
Then she's like, "Where are you?" So, I
I don't think that's really. I don't think that was never written in the profile or anything. She said that on a whim, just because she was like, "Well, I want to get out too."
Right.
Did she?
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
I guess maybe it could
This
have
scene
been.
happened so
I think
fast.
she like it looked like, at least with Kate Winslet's like good acting, it looked like she was like making that up on the spot to be like, well, I want to get out of here too, and she was like, well, please be somewhere good because I just need to leave.
I can accept that.
Sure,
That's
Yeah.
fine.
sure.
So they decide, yes, let's switch places because LA and Surrey, beautiful. Sure, let's switch it up. And they do.
And they say, how soon? tomorrow good? And they say, yeah, tomorrow. And so by tomorrow, they're in each other's countries.
Yes.
Which is not how... Well, I don't know. I guess they make tons of money.
So they both seem well
yeah,
off.
I guess they can both buy
an
day
immediate
plane ticket, which are very expensive.
Yes.
Sure, why not? Now, I've skipped a few things in my notes because it's really not important with how she like arrives at the house and the cottage and everything.
Yeah.
There's the kind of fake comedy of her walking in the snow
In
her
her
heels,
heels.
slipping
Yeah.
around. and
She's
it's
an
like-
American. She
and as
doesn't
I'm
know.
yeah, right. Like they have snow.
Right.
Actually, she lives in LA.
Well, she
so I
lives in
guess
LA.
not.
I think the thing was, and this is the thing. This is why I can't get behind Cameron Diaz in rom-coms. It's like she always plays the same like character that I don't like.
Right.
It's like they have her as kind of just like the stuffy work person, but not like
But so out of touch with like poorer people. that
with
she's
like
what is this? A snow?
anything. It's always like her in like sunglasses, no matter the weather outside,
Right.
and like the
And,
big
like,
suitcases.
Yeah.
Everything's like, I can't believe this normal thing happened to me, a human.
Yeah,
So,
but
again, it's like fake
skipping
comedy.
all that because she, adjusts to the house and she's in there, and then she just decides like, I don't know, I guess I'll go out on the town, and it's her driving, trying to be like, oh
Yeah.
my god, I'm gonna die on the wrong side of the road, and she's speeding.
So fast.
She's like, oh my god, I've never done this before, and she's like pedal to the bottom of the floor, just.
Doesn't she generally know car speeds, even if she's on the wrong side of the
Maybe
road?
she's like, maybe in England they go so much faster.
Yeah. None of the other cars are, but I'm supposed to.
But me?
She almost dies like 4 times, and it could have been easily avoided if she went the speed limit.
So she goes to the supermarket and she's like, I need a drink. She's drinking straight from a bottle of red wine,
Which, it's England. There are pubs everywhere.
and she's
Oh,
about
yeah.
to go back out and drive.
Oh,
she's
yeah,
already a
she
bad
has-
driver.
She has to get home.
She drinks like half a bottle of red wine, then is like, all right, time to go drive. I was nervous to do it. Now I feel fine.
What else happens? Oh, I guess we cut back to Kate Winslet.
Mm-hmm.
And she's having the time of her life swimming and all that. And just
Yes.
like being like, this house is amazing.
Cameron
it's huge.
Diaz has a huge house. Yeah.
Yeah. In which I enjoy the scenes that Kate Winslet are in so much more.
Oh, yes.
And like I really liked the movie when I was watching it, but now going back and talking about it, that's where I'm starting to falter here. I'm like, was this stupid? Because I really just enjoyed it an hour ago.
Oh, see, now I kind of feel the opposite. When I was
Yeah.
watching it, I was like, ugh. But now thinking back to Kate Winslet's, especially later scenes, no spoilers,
When she gets stabbed.
when she gets stabbed
by
and
Jack Black.
she screams.
And he says,
screams.
scream all you want. I compose music and I've soundproofed all of Los Angeles.
And he leans in close and he says, "It was beauty that killed the beast."
And then
And
he gives one slit of, of the throat.
and then someone way in the background, Jack Black.
And then
Anyway, you enjoyed the scenes like those?
I enjoyed those many scenes.
Whoa, did we just all black out for a second? What were we talking about? Anyway, the princess switch,
princess
am I right?
Oh my god. Anyway, yes, Kate Winslet was very charming. She's a very good actress. I think she can make the worst script be good. I really
And
do.
Cameron Diaz can make anything bad.
Yeah, she really can. She can really stink up a script.
Really, just poop on on anything.
But part of the day is Jack Black comes to the door with his girlfriend. I guess he was like picking something up from Amanda.
Yeah. He's friends
Cameron
with
Diaz's character.
He's friends with Cameron Diaz's ex-boyfriend who got kicked out. So he was like, I'm here to pick up some of his stuff.
Right. And it's really, really fucking windy out.
So windy.
So windy that Kate Winslet, Iris, gets something caught in her eye. And there's this kind of like, I would say a meet cute scene with Jack Black and Iris where he's like helping get something out of her eye and talks about the Santa Ana winds. How do we feel about this meet cute?
Their banter throughout much of the movie is not great.
No?
I don't. I think there was one moment where they go, "Don't blow away,"
Oh,
and then
that
he
was
like
the first
kind of
scene.
waves.
I give
and
it
he's
as
like, "Oh, okay. I
that was the
won't."
first
Yeah.
scene. I'll give them that one. I thought the rest of it I enjoyed.
Well, it got better, but for a while I was like, "Oh, really?" But
yeah. Well, this first scene, I don't know. I think it. I don't know. It was like almost a cute scene, but it was like a little weird because I was like, I don't want a strange person touching my eye.
That was why it was.
Maybe if Jack Black were like hotter, but also I know that's not the point of his character.
Yeah.
But like, I wouldn't want just like a schlubby guy who I don't know touching my eye.
No, right.
Which is the first impression of Jack Black, unless you previously know him as Jack Black.
Please, Jack Black, touch my eye.
Well, she does seem a bit like taken by
She
him.
does.
I mean, he's got this kind of swagger upon him
He does.
that I've never seen on Jack Black before.
Oh wait. And then there's this moment where it's just like he leaves, and then it's like 8,000 seconds of the wind. They just show the wind in the trees, and then she goes, anything could happen. Wait, it was after she saw an old man crossing the street with a nurse, and then just the wind, and she's like, anything could happen. I'm like, what?
Old people
and wind.
What is this place?
Why, that man is so old. I guess Los Angeles makes him older.
Oh my god. Cameron Diaz is bored.
She's so bored.
The
She's
house
so
is
bored.
so small. It's lovely. I would love that house.
Me too.
Compared
But
to...
a knock. Who's that at the door?
Oh, it's Jude Law, and he is drunk, and he is Iris's brother, and he is cute.
And she like instantly is like fixing her hair, and she's like, me and this guy, we're gonna smush butts.
Hubba.
Instantly. And she says it to the camera, which was a weird break in form.
Right, but she got real close to the camera. Her nose smudged the
She did that
glass
thing
a
where
bit.
she kind of covers half her, like one side of her face with her hand, and so that like he can't see. And he's like, oh, me and him, we're gonna smush butts.
But it's the wrong side of her face, so he can see her
and he
say
says,
it.
what? And she goes, nothing, and turns to the camera and winks. It was just, the whole thing was weird.
The whole thing.
What actually happens is not that different. I'm going
No,
to stand
no.
by that. To be honest, like, I'm joking, but also,
But it's also,
there's something there.
So Jude Law is drunk. He gets to the what he thinks is his sister's place. I mean, it is his sister's place, but he's expecting Iris to be there, and he's like pissed drunk.
Oh, I got a whiz.
Yeah.
A whiz, a big one.
He was drinking in the area and usually stays over the house when that happens, and he can't drive, I suppose.
Yeah.
And Cameron Diaz is like, I don't hate this. So they hang out for a little bit. They drink brandy, and then he's like about to sleep on the couch, and he's like, well, good night, and gives her a big old kiss on the mouth.
One of the biggest.
It was a big kiss on the
Big
mouth.
kiss.
Yeah.
And then she's like, would you mind doing that again?
She ruins everything she does.
Yeah.
And he's like, okay. And then they keep doing it, and it's all close and like weird sounding. I don't like it. And she's like, we should have sex. And he's basically like, okay. And then they talk about it much more. And then
It's a lot of talking about it. It feels like it's just like the kissing and the suggesting they have sex is turning into like a long instructional video. It's like, would you try that again, but slower? Yes.
Again, it's like fake comedy. Like, is this? They know this isn't funny, right? So
Right.
it's like that thing where they write it to be like, well, on paper, this is the comedy bit, but it's not actually funny. It's not entertaining. It's not important.
Yeah.
Long movie.
Yeah, they're about to have
They
sex,
did-
and she's like, "Oh, I should warn you, I'm not good at it." Which, great way to maybe stop getting someone to have sex with you. But also, he's like, "Not possible," and he's like, "Well, my previous boyfriend told me that." Which dick.
Yeah.
So,
But also,
whatever.
yeah, that's a very long moment too of just
Such
like,
a long moment.
oh, I'm sure you're fine at it. No, I'm probably not. No, I bet you are. No, they said I wasn't. Well, he could be wrong. No, he's not.
I don't know what to do with my hands.
All right, everyone, we're gonna take a quick little Christmas-themed break. Go Yule your log. Go stuff someone's stocking. And another Christmas-themed innuendo, and we'll be right back.
And then we're back at in LA.
We cut to, well, imagine we like see them have sex and like she's like, all right, here we go, and she takes a loaded revolver out and shoots his kneecap off, and she's like, how was that for you? And gets him a cigarette, and he's like, you are bad at this.
You're very bad.
This wasn't sex at all.
So we're back in LA, and Jasper calls. Which
I fucking hate
we hate Jasper.
Jasper's
He's
the
already
worst.
tried to text her after they announced their engagement, and she's like, I need to fall out of love with you, so please leave me alone. He calls anyway, and it's like, oh, please, I'm going to send you these pages I need you to look at, please.
You're my rock.
He's like, oh, and you're in LA? And he says, oh, you're wearing that red bikini that ties in the back, and that unties in the back? I'm like, all bikinis untie in the back. Most.
I don't know.
I took a
I
drink
don't know
of
that.
water, but yes.
Not all, but most.
Actually,
it's very
that's
common.
for the best. That makes sense.
It's very common.
It's kind of like saying, "Oh, those pants that unzip in the front." It's
Yeah.
like, yeah.
Like,
most.
yes, some pants zip in the back, but that's so common. That's
would
not a
be-
descriptor.
It would be bad pants if they did. Yeah.
Oh, God.
It's a good time though.
Anyway,
he's awful.
yeah.
And then Kate Winslet kind of shakes it off, and she sees the old man from previously walking alone in the street, and he looks lost. He looks confused.
Right.
So kind of picks him up and offers to take him home, and she does. And as he's leaving the car, he says, "Well, this was some meet cute."
Ugh.
Which
And I screamed, and I was so happy.
yeah,
Me too.
literally, this movie is a film adaptation of our podcast.
It
12
is.
years early.
Oh yeah. We should be sued.
Yeah, I was 13 and I didn't know any better when I signed the rights over. But here we are.
Well, this old man is just delightful.
He was their scenes, Kate Winslet
Yes.
and I wanna say his-
Arthur. The
Arthur,
character's name
yeah.
was Arthur.
I loved that. I loved
was
those
great.
scenes.
He was great, and she walks into his house and finds out he was like an old, very successful film writer.
Mm-hmm.
And they start getting into lots of discussions about movies. She asks him to join her for dinner out, and they have a wonderful time. And he says the thing, he's like, you're acting like the best friend, but you're more of a leading lady. And she's like, you're right. You're supposed to be the leading lady of your own life, because she's like crying about the boyfriend, Jasper. And I just liked that. I thought that was nice.
Yeah.
And well delivered by a good actress.
Yeah, Kate Winslet, there's a reason she's like revered.
Mhm.
She's very good.
She's very
She is.
good.
I don't trust her.
Oh no.
No.
She's
Like,
a shifty
I wouldn't
broad.
Stay on my
She's a
couch.
shifty broad.
Yeah. She'll like sell your kitchen knives and be like, "Whoops."
So we don't need to like perseverate on this like too much, but like they do end up having this relationship where he, I guess, gives her a list of like classic films to watch, and then it's revealed that they're all like characters with these strong female characters that have like gumption, a word that the old guy uses, and that just comes back. But I thought that was really sweet.
Yeah, he's great, and they want to do like a tribute to him because he's
From
like
the Writers Guild.
yeah, and
Yeah.
he's like, it's a prank.
They're gonna pour. They're gonna throw water balloons at me.
Yeah, he's like, Rob Reiner's gonna pants me in front of everyone. I know it.
That was a weird scene too.
Yeah.
He's not
Right as Jack Black slit Kate Winslet's
It
throat,
did a split screen
Rob
on the
Reiner
other side.
pantsed Arthur.
And then they go, Jack Black and Rob Reiner crossed the split screen and kissed, and then looked to the camera and went, "We're gonna smush butts." And then the rest of the movie just happened honky dory.
Yep.
absolutely.
Kate Winslet was alive. It was like that whole scene never happened.
Yeah. You guys saw it too. Cool.
Oh my God. So
all jokes aside, I'm not that far from what actually happened.
not true.
That time we aren't.
Cut back to Cameron Diaz. Unfortunately,
Wish that were the case.
I wish we
also,
didn't have to.
can we talk about how Kate Winslet was never like, "Ooh, I've got a dog that you have to take care of."
I
wrote
was
that
thinking about that. I was like, they never mentioned the dog in the
And
contract.
Cameron Diaz, when she moved in, she was never like, "A dog I have to take care of."
Yeah.
It was just like there was a scene where she was in bed and she looked over and saw the dog, and she was like, "Well, I already know this dog."
It was interesting that there was a lot of filler and a lot of scenes that didn't need to happen for a lot of different reasons, but one scene that totally would have made sense is her to walk in and be like, "Oh, they didn't tell me there'd be a dog." 'Cause
Right.
That seems like a thing that someone high maintenance
Especially
would
the
want to
character
do.
who goes, "Ah."
Yeah, exactly. She'd be like a dog, and the dog would shake some mud on her or something, and
Yeah.
she'd go, "What?" And it wouldn't be funny. But that's a scene that we would be okay. It's like, check that off the
Right,
list. But
right.
it didn't happen. She was just game to watch this dog.
Which I have a spontaneous complaint I'd like to make against these Cameron Diaz characters. They're usually strong in that it's like, oh, she really loves her job and she's very good at it. She owns her own company. But they make her like pathetic in this way that's like, I don't know how to do anything. I just wear my heels and clack around. I'm like, no, you started your own company.
Yeah, you're very successful.
You probably like, and this is like a complaint against writers and I guess in general. It's like, okay, you make this woman really successful, but also she can't like, I don't know, probably like fix a toilet. I'm like, she's gotten this far. It's like you're writing the wrong character. They're writing the character that was like born rich and like doesn't need a job. Like,
Yeah.
Different characters.
So we see for probably like an hour of the movie, her and Jude Law just keep going back and forth between being like, it got really exhausting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the will they, won't they of like, are they gonna? They're like, we can't do this, but maybe we can, but we can't. I was beat by the end of it. Like,
Yeah.
you're having the same conversation over and over. It was very dumb.
Well, what happens is Cameron Diaz is like, there's nothing to do here, and I was unhappy with myself in LA, so why do I think I was going to be happy with myself alone here where I know nobody? So she's like, I'm leaving tomorrow at noon. I'm going back to LA. And Jude Law is like, well, if you change your mind, I'll be at this pub tomorrow. And she shows up.
Yep.
And they have a good
she
old time.
smiles and,
She gets
yeah.
super drunk, and
They
don't
have
sex. Ooh, crazy.
But he stays over anyway. Yeah.
Oh, she begged him, apparently.
Oy.
And there was that whole long scene where it was like, you're crazy drunk. And she was like, I was crazy drunk. And he's like, you're the most interesting woman I've ever met. I'm like, how?
It's that accent.
She got
It's that
drunk
Cameron
and
Diaz
said
voice.
funny things. Like, oh my God.
Now I have some questions that we'll talk about later when we reveal another thing about Jude Law.
Excellent. So now we're an hour into this movie, full hour into this movie, and Jack Black comes back.
Yeah,
Yep.
Jack Black was not in a lot of this movie for the beginning.
A full hour in. I was excited to see Jack Black, and I finally see him an hour in. He rings the doorbell for what reason? To get something
So
again,
probably
maybe.
just to come back to
I don't
collect?
remember exactly.
I think he, let's just say for business. I don't know. Maybe he
Yeah.
came back to get the
To get
thing.
whatever it was.
And
yeah.
Kate Winslet has all these old men over for a Hanukkah party. They're all Arthur's
So
friends.
cute.
They're
They're so cute. They're all having an
making out.
amazing
They're all
time.
making out.
They're
They're
not
all in a
making out.
They're not making out.
Bathtub. No, yeah.
They're just having a grand old time, like swapping old entertainment stories, being generally cute. Jack Black is charming, and he gets a little drunk on the Manischewitz. And I don't know. It was just fun.
Yeah, they all hang out, and that's the first time that Kate Winslet and Jack Black really get to spend some time. Jack Black's girlfriend Maggie is out of town. She's an
Yes.
actress. And
She's
she'll be
filming
back
in
soon.
Santa
Phoenix
Fe.
okay, somewhere.
She's filming in Santa Fe
So
Um,
Jack Black leaves, and he's a little drunk, and he kisses Kate Winslet on the cheek.
twice.
And-
I hated that.
Oh,
Yeah, you
tell us
hated
why.
I don't know. Just A, you're dating someone else. B, you met twice. I don't know. It just he was like, okay, I'll just kiss her right now, and then I'll kiss a second time, and I'll linger a little too long, and it's
That's
it was
literally
fine
what-
in
I thought it was-
2006.
I thought
and
it was
it's not
funny
now.
though because he literally said it. He like narrated that exact thing.
Yeah, but that doesn't make it okay if he's like, whoop, I accidentally grazed your butt there, and I grazed it a second time a bit too long. All right, I gotta go.
I don't know. I didn't hate it, but it was a little like they could have made a better choice to make it like I don't know.
Like a hug?
Because it was a kiss.
Yeah,
it was a kiss, which
it
is
was
weird.
a kiss. It could have been like an awkward hug, and it
Or-
would have
yeah,
like
or
served
like
the same
a
purpose. Like he
too
was
long
like,
handshake or
yes,
something.
or a too long hug. Yeah, why not? It's
Yeah.
like, oh, good seeing you, and it's supposed to be like, oh, he's a little drunk, and we see signs, but
Right.
you're right, it was weird.
Well, no, yeah, I guess I don't hate it. It's just a little skeevy.
It was a little skeevy for a character that shouldn't be.
And yeah, for a character who just talked about his girlfriend a lot.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Cameron Diaz and Jude Law are having a date.
It's you sounded like
So tired.
like someone woke you up from a nap
I'm
and,
just like-
and asked you what you were dreaming about, and your answer was Cameron Diaz and Jude Law are having a date, and you go right back.
And we find out that Cameron hasn't cried since she was 15.
Which who gives a fuck?
Yeah, what
It's
kind of
stupid.
plot point is that?
I don't know. It's
That's
again
in the
this
movie
is
more than
again
Jack
with
Black
this movie.
is.
I
That feels
enjoyed
like-
myself while I was watching it, but now that I'm talking about it, I wish that Cameron Diaz was just not in it.
Yeah.
If that feels like you have a cake and it's got delicious layers, and then you put some shaved coconut on it,
Right.
But it's not shaved coconut; it's shaved like carpet. That's what that felt like. It was like, why'd you put that in there? The
Yeah.
kind of- you don't need that. You had
No. The thing
a
that
lot
we
going on in
really
this
didn't
movie.
need, the thing we really didn't need was when, in the montage of them continuing their date, she feeds him broccoli off the fork. Like, try it. I'm like, no, I know what broccoli tastes like.
yeah, and I don't want any of that.
I'll have some with dinner, but I don't need some now.
Give me your broccoli.
But Cameron Diaz's parents got divorced. She was an only child, and when they divorced, she cried herself to sleep and then never cried again. And Jude Law's like, I cry all the time. And I'm like, of course you do, you sexy little Brit.
oh yeah.
Ooh, cry
Yeah.
for me now.
Oh, I love a crying man.
So much
That's not
money.
even a joke. Of course that's not a joke. I love a man crying.
All right, Edward, you heard her punch each other quick,
All right, right now.
emotionally.
My dad never loved me. Oh no, I did it to myself.
Edward. Omar. I want to hear an update on that after we can cut this.
I hate how often Amanda, that's Cameron Diaz's character. I hate how often she talks out loud to herself.
Yep.
But I do really like the device of using the film trailer voiceovers to narrate how she's feeling.
That grew on me.
I really liked it. Pick one. Why does she need to talk out loud about herself and have the voiceover guy? Pick one. The second's a really good device. Ugh, but she's constantly like, what do I do now? Alone in a room.
So Cameron Diaz goes to Jude Law's house, and she's like, surprise, hello. What's mine is yours, baby. Just kidding. That's 2 years later, and what happens in Vegas. But she goes to his house, and he's got kids.
He's got kids.
Bunch of little girls.
And you think it's not kids because he like opens the door and he like only opens it a bit, and he's like, oh, you're here.
And also his shirt's too undone.
His shirt's undone.
He's like too naked to suggest he's playing with kids.
Oh, yeah. Jude Law with kids.
They were shaving me for sport.
No, it's fine.
It's
They're
a
my
game.
own children.
But he opens the door and she's like, you're not alone, are you? And then he's like, I'm not. And reveals two adorable little girls. And she's like, what? And he goes, because the kids are like, Daddy, Daddy. And she gives him a look like, what? And he goes, yes, I am Daddy.
Wink.
Which I need to like go back and make a GIF of this and then post it to our socials of just, yes, I am Daddy. Because that should exist in the world.
They should.
A GIF of Jude Law sexily saying, yes, I am Daddy.
So Cameron Diaz goes in and they have a nice time, and she's really like working with the kids real well, and they're like, come see our fort. And Jude Law's like, she's not gonna crawl in your fort. And then they go to see like the blanket fort, and the fort was great.
Beautiful.
It was like barely had to crawl.
The fort was great, but Cameron Diaz treated it like it was the Taj Mahal. She was like, what is this? This is who did this?
Yeah, you're right. It was a bit much.
Cut these stars out and hung them up. It's
Did real
amazing.
builders make this? Oh.
Are you kids gods?
Find out Jude Law's a widower.
Yeah.
A widower. And
I always thought that was a weird phrase. I always thought it felt like they made someone a widow.
Yeah.
Like, I'm the widower. Right? Like, doesn't it sound
Yeah.
like a video game character?
yeah, it does.
Like a horror
Guys,
movie?
I fucking love Mr. Napkin Head.
I remember Mr. Napkin Head
Live
from
for Mr.
youth.
Napkin Head.
Yeah. Love it.
Oh my god.
That's the kids who are like, Daddy, do Mr. Napkin
Napkin
Head,
Head.
do Mr. Napkin Head. And he gets a white napkin, throws it over his head, puts his glasses on, sucks in the napkin a little, and makes a little funny face with it.
I'm Mr. Napkin Head.
And I think it's delightful.
It's a delight.
It was real
never
good.
ceases to
And
amaze.
what's sad is that as they get older, it'll be less fun for everyone in the family.
Yep.
What the fuck, Zach?
And then when they bring boys over, he'll try and do it as like a joke, like to embarrass them, and they'll get really embarrassed and very upset at their
And
father.
they'll walk out of the room, and you know what's the saddest sight in the world? A lonely single father sitting at the desk with a napkin, over his face.
Which, speaking of, Cameron Diaz
so
is
sad
mad.
now.
Guys, Cameron Diaz is like, why didn't you tell me? And he's like, well, you know, when I don't know how to date as like a dad, because I don't want to like, you know, bring someone into these girls' life, you know, very just like understandable things. But some of what he said was a little wild, where he was just like, you know, I sew and I get tutus on the weekend. This is who I am.
And I do Mr. Napkin Head. He says that.
He does. Yeah,
I'm like, those are nice things to do as a father. It's not like a burden.
I think it was a very 2006, still in the very like, I'm kind of a mother in this sort of way.
He literally said that.
thing.
Yeah.
Which is, I guess, people saw as emasculating back in the day.
Man, oh man. But let me tell you, if Jude Law was sexy before, once he revealed he was Daddy, I was like, oh, hell yeah. Good with kids. Count me in. Listen, if I were Cameron Diaz's age and I met a man like that and then found out he was a good dad, I would be like, oh, hell yeah, I am moving to England and I am keeping him. That is a
Put
win.
the
That is
napkin
not a
back on your
loss.
face,
That
baby.
is a good thing. That helps.
So it's time for Jack Black and Kate Winslet to hang out and watch a goddamn movie.
Yeah.
They
Oh,
gotta-
wait. But before they do, we have to just mention that in order for Arthur to accept this award that he's being honored for, he's like, I don't want to do it because they're going to prank me, meaning he really just doesn't want to walk there in his walker and be out of shape. And she's like, well, good thing I'm going to be your physical therapist for the next 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And like does
I got
pool
nothing going on.
exercises with him and
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
teaches him how to walk again. You know.
Filler.
Yeah.
Yeah, Lindsay, thank you for hitting that one on the head in terms of there being a lot of unnecessary stuff in
Yeah,
this
they
movie.
could have just like been pals. And
None of it was like
yeah.
fun enough.
Yeah.
I guess the swimming scenes, they were sweet, but like still, they could have been easily
That
replaced
could
with
have
something
just
better.
them been hanging out. She didn't have
Yeah.
to like
Yeah.
have this added thing of like teaching him how to walk.
It could have just been more of a thing of like confidence, like, oh, I haven't been with those people in a while and I just feel self-conscious. And
Right.
them hanging out could have just raised his confidence rather than the simple thing of, I don't want to walk in my walker. Who gives
Yeah.
a shit? There's a lot of things like that didn't just like weren't needed.
Yeah. But now Jack Black is back.
Yeah, it's movie night. They're at Blockbuster. Jack Black is doing like
He is pulling out the Jack
yeah,
Black.
He's doing all
card.
the songs from all. He's picking up DVDs and doing like their theme music with his mouth and his sort of like birda birda boo Jack Black.
He's like, and this one is like squabba doodle doodle doodle. And with this little like dance, I fucking love him.
And at one point, he holds up The Graduate and does a little thing. And who is there but the graduate himself, Dustin Hoffman?
Who's like, I can't go anywhere. But it's a great moment. It's a great like for a very non-Jack Black performance. I feel like they put this one in to be like, it's still Jack Black. This
Right.
is his comedy.
Yeah, thank
and it
God.
felt really like, honestly, I felt like I took a drink of water. I was like, oh,
Yeah.
that's Jack Black.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
it felt
here we
safe and comfy.
Yeah,
It was great.
It was good. I think some of his like, oh, you got to watch this movie for this and this and that. I'll be quizzing you. Feels a little like mansplainy, but it was 2006,
Yeah.
and Jack Black's charming enough that it doesn't totally go that way.
Right.
I think a worse actor would have like
Yeah.
made this douchey.
There were a few things like that and the kiss and everything that I was like, I don't know if he's like the coolest dude, but he's Jack Black and he's cute. So
Yeah,
like, I
he's
guess
like-
I'll let it go. And she seems to be okay with it all. But on paper, I'm like, this is kind of weird. Actually, I don't like a lot of things he's doing.
Mm-hmm.
He looks out the window at the Blockbuster, and who does he see walking arm in arm with some fucking guy? Maggie.
It's Maggie.
His girlfriend, who's supposed to be in
girlfriend.
Santa Fe filming an indie movie.
But where is she? Outside of that Blockbuster.
That one Blockbuster
With
that I
some-
guess everyone goes to.
Yeah, with some man. Ugh.
yeah.
Fucking, I believed in them as a couple. Oh wait, I knew something like this would happen.
because they're both on the poster.
Yeah, because
Jack Black and Kate Winslet.
Yeah, imagine if at the end all that he's like, all right, well, gotta get home to Maggie, and they just never like become.
Surprise, she's here. That's her brother. Her flight got in
Oh,
early.
Lucas is in town. He runs out. But what he actually does is he runs out and he's like, Maggie, the hell, and she's like, I came home a few days and I've been spending it with this guy, and blah, 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 blah. That's a series wrap on Maggie essentially.
Yeah, series wrap on Maggie, basically. But they spend the night together, Kate Winslet and Jack Black. Not like having sex or anything. They just they're like comforting each other because they
Yeah.
both just gotten their heart broken like big old time. And what they drink. Oh wait, there's this scene where
Yeah,
she
this
like
is
gives him a
weird.
cup of tea and he's like, I need something stronger, and then hands him what I thought was just water. Why not make it like
I thought it was.
Wine
It
or
must have been
whiskey.
gin or vodka, but it
Right.
should have been a
It
brown
should have
liquid
been-
to convey it.
Right.
Because it was a weird look that she was like, have anything stronger? Here's some water.
Here's a water-looking beverage. Yeah.
I like to think that it's canon. It's like a one small weird detail where in this world, water is alcohol. Yeah, and then at one point they're talking, and he's like, "You need this more than me." I'm like, "The water?"
You look dehydrated, please.
now we have a series of like cute Jack Black, Kate Winslet scenes. Kate Winslet gives this like really good monologue about how like the only thing that'll basically heal a broken heart is time, and that's just like a well acted monologue. We didn't truly need it, but it was just well acted. And then there's the
We'll allow it.
I'll allow it. And then she's like, all right, well, it's Christmas Eve. We should make ourselves some food. I'll make you a plate of fettuccine Alfredo. And then also Kate Winslet's at home alone on Christmas.
Cameron Diaz,
Diaz is at home alone eating fettuccine Alfredo. Is this a thing?
I totally forgot that this was a Christmas holiday-centered movie until they mentioned that it was Christmas Eve. And I was like, oh, what's this timeline?
Right. I couldn't really follow the progression of the 2 weeks at all.
It was even more of a New Year's movie than a Christmas movie, in that it ended on New Year's, but who cares?
It was like a holiday season. It was a December movie.
Yeah, it was a
It
December.
just took place in December.
That works.
Yeah.
But it wasn't like so much holiday, but yeah, they're all eating
Why
fettuccine.
are they all eating fettuccine Alfredo? Is this something you do on Christmas Eve?
It also like made me really want fettuccine Alfredo.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, ooh, I was a little cold.
Yeah, I'm going to Florida to visit my grandma for Christmas. I'm like, she makes mean fettuccine Alfredo.
Where can I get that? Should I make pasta when I go home? What time
Do you know
is
how
it?
to make fettuccine Alfredo?
It's just fettuccine and Alfredo.
Well, yeah, but
No, I know. Yeah.
Alfredo sauce, there's a trick to it.
Yeah.
I don't know why I'm laughing so much. I just think it's a funny combo. Because it's like at that point, it's like, how do you make a burger? It's just burger stuff and bread.
Burger and bread, you idiot.
So then it's Jack Black and Kate Winslet just like in the room where he has his piano, and he's just basically he's playing themes for movies and kind of like giving her a little like quiz almost. So just like, here's this, here's that, and he's like, oh, this is the song I'd play for Arthur when he walks out. Like,
how cool would it be if
award.
she was like, hey, name one thing that I'm personally interested in.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that
and
is.
he just sort of backs out of the room.
Yeah, like
Stamps.
like she has a lot of personality and a lot of ambitions. Like, talk about those.
That is true. It's like she is a big time writer, and it's just like even Arthur the old guy is just like, watch these movies, and Jack Black's like, listen to these movies,
Yeah.
promise
Yeah.
me, and it's just like,
It's like, stop
she's a
shoving your
person,
things,
too.
trying to form her as a
Again.
human. She's like 35.
yeah, again, that's fault of the writers, but still.
Yeah.
But there's the cute moment where he's playing a song. He's like, I wrote one for you too, like a theme, and he's like, Iris, if you were a melody, and he's like playing it, and it's like kind of sweet, and she likes it.
Dun, 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 dun. And that was weird.
And then I just wrote Jack Black scatting forever.
Oh,
I love
the
it.
best.
Oh yeah. What was that? The doobity doobie.
Yeah, and then they're both scatting together. I was like, fine, I love it. They both said they both said like one thing. They both went like flarbity barb barb, and they were like, both of us. Yeah, fruital doodle.
Yeah.
Just classic Jack Black stuff. I
Yeah.
would happily just watch Jack Black like do a jig and make noises. All right, that sounds like a good point for a break. I don't want to forget about our Jewish fans, so we're going to sing a little Hanukkah song. Ose shalom ve'in rumav huyate. Oh, you thought I was going to make a joke? No, I genuinely know that song. Enjoy it. The Meat Cute. Jude Law comes over for what, Christmas Eve?
I don't know anymore.
It's also confusing because it's like Jack Black don't you have family you want to go to?
Yeah, all of
and
you
Jude Law,
should-
you literally have children. You have to go be Santa Claus
That
tonight.
was my question from earlier. If he stays at Iris's place a lot, who watches the kids?
He said the grandparents had them that weekend.
Great.
Yeah, they did let that check out.
Great.
The
The dog watches the kids.
dog watches the kids. Jude Law tells Amanda he's in love with her. That's really all that happens that night. And she's like,
Yeah.
what?
She goes,
End of scene. Basically, though.
yeah.
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 Yeah. I just really want to get back to my other favorite couple, Jack
Yeah,
Black and
let's
Kate
just hop back
Winslet.
over.
You mean Arthur and Kate Winslet?
They got to go to an event, which I guess takes place on Christmas.
Yeah,
Eve.
what is that?
All those writers.
No, Christmas
just-
Eve happened. So this
that's
is
fettuccine
Christmas
night.
Day.
it was really hard to follow. Like they didn't even say like Christmas happened. It felt like they skipped over the actual
They
holiday
should have
part.
had like either the picture of the calendar where like the dates
Yeah.
keep falling off.
Yeah.
Or
But even then, I agree. It would have felt weird to not show Christmas at all. I feel like everything's supposed to come to a head on Christmas.
I think that's not a problem, but that's the issue of setting it in LA where it doesn't look like winter at all.
Right.
So we forget that, this takes place in winter and around Christmas time.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was confusing, but I guess they have this event later today, the Arthur honoring thing. What, getting sushi together? having a time. Kate Winslet and Jack Black.
Right.
They're at a restaurant together, enjoying their time. There was a line where he was like reaching for something, and he went, "Oh my god, accidental boob graze!"
You bet he did.
And I thought it was like funny because Kate Winslet was enjoying it. It was just like, I was like, this had to have been improv, right? Because the next line had nothing to do with them
Gosh, I
having
hope
fun.
so.
I was like, did they just keep this? Because it was very natural, and I thought it was funny.
I hope so, because if they wrote it, it just adds to some questionable
just
Jack
Yeah.
Black behavior in this movie.
Yeah. I thought it was funny.
Let's pretend it's improvised.
I think it
Let's-
must have
yeah.
been.
Yeah.
It was because why would you write that? I don't know. It's a
Again,
real.
It's not a joke. It's not a funny.
No, but
thing
it's a
to
real
write.
thing that
It's a-
happens,
No, no,
and I
exactly.
think that's funny and awkward when it does, and adds to any like tension,
Yeah.
especially if
Right.
you want to like date the person.
No, it's funny. It's funny in that sense. I'm saying like as far as that's why I agree it's probably not written because it's like it's not a thing you'd write to be like this will be funny. But it's funny if it just happens.
Yeah.
But the date doesn't last long. Not that it really was a date, but because Maggie calls.
Mm-hmm.
And Maggie wants Jack Black back. She
Say that 3 times fast, Jack Black. back.
Jack Black wants Jack Black. Maggie wants Jack Black back.
No, just Jack Black back.
Jack Black back wants him back. So he leaves, and Kate Winslet goes home.
And he's like, "Oh, I may not make it tonight. I know
may
I was
not
gonna.
make it.
I'm gonna slit your throat later." No, he's like, "Oh, I don't know how long this thing with Maggie will take. I know I promised you that I would like play the music for Arthur's show or what have you, but I may not make it." And she's
Right.
very upset. Anyway,
Anyway, she goes home, and who the fuck shows up at the door? Actually, who calls? Who calls and says, "Oh, I left you a present outside." And then he's like, "Check the front door," and then she opens the door, and it's fucking Jasper.
Scream from
The
Scream.
hell is his problem?
He's disgusting.
Fucking dickhole.
Looks
with
like
his,
a triangle in a blazer.
yeah, with
Awful.
with one oval eye and one round eye.
He
Sorry.
is a cubist painting.
Both in his mouth for some reason. Sucking on him. He's the worst.
Yeah, Jack Black's cuter, and this Jasper fuck is still engaged.
Although, I'm going to just say it. I think Kate Winslet could do better than either.
Oh yeah.
Oh, for sure.
Oh
She's
yes.
Smart,
classically
funny.
beautiful.
Yeah, she's awesome. Like, she settled for either.
Yeah.
But that's another conversation.
So she seems hopeful that maybe Jasper's left his fiance and they're gonna finally like really do this
Yeah,
thing.
and they're like lounging in bed
Yeah.
together, and they lean in to kiss. And she's like, "So have you left your fiance?" And what does he say?
He's like, "Oh,
He's
no."
like, "Oh, it's complicated. I can't talk about my feelings. I have so
Blah,
many
blah, 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 blah,
feelings.
blah, blah, blah.
I'm a freshman in college."
And she gets pissed and she just starts yelling at him and doing this big old monologue, which kind of fucking rules.
Yeah.
Because she gets like she's like, "You know what? Get out of my life!" And then she gets kind of like really happy about it, and then she pushes him out the door, and he's like, "Well, what's wrong with you?" And she's like, "I've got gumption." Cute.
I got gumption.
Gumption.
Is this a Steam
Steam
Heat
Heat.
parody?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a classic parody of the song Steam Heat.
Mhm. Also
So-
on that lonely island.
One of my favorites.
So Arthur's leading lady films helped her some way, which we cut to his event.
And it's sweet
And it's so
because
sweet.
everyone is applauding, and he's crying because he's affected all of these people.
I almost cried
And
because he walks up the stairs.
He walks up the stairs, and he's so proud to have walked up the stairs. And Kate Winslet's just so happy for him.
Yeah.
And who scootily doots in but Jack Black. And he's like, "Wow, honka honka, am I right?"
He ended it with Maggie.
Yeah.
Good thing. And then while the speech is going on, he says, "What are you doing New Year's Eve?" And she's like, "Oh, I'll be back in England by then." He's like, "Well, I've never been to Europe. If I come, will you be my date?" And she's like, "Oh, fuck yeah." And gives him a kiss.
Right.
And gives him a kiss. And then Jack Black does the cutest little, like, as they turn around and start watching the speech, gives a little, like, yes, like, move to himself. I loved it.
It was
Count
cute.
me in. I thought it was so cute.
All right, okay.
Then we go back to the fucking fun bunch in England.
The will they, won't they?
Yeah, I hated
boys.
checking in with them. I was
Yeah.
tired. All of their scenes, I'm sorry, they're maybe 3 minutes, but they were also 40 minutes.
They were
Yeah.
so long. There were so
Well,
many
they were
of
the
them.
same scene of just
Yeah.
like, we shouldn't do this. Or we're doing it.
But
we
the
can't,
highlight
but
in
we
each
can't.
scene was Jude Law. Cameron Diaz could have gone out the window. Bye-bye. I'm done.
They should have just been Jude Law talking to himself in a mirror saying, I shouldn't be doing this, but I'm going to do it right now.
And Kate Winslet's like, my brother is so troubled. He thinks he has kids, but it's 2 sock puppets.
Who wants to see Mr. Napkin Head?
I am dead. He's the guy walking around the neighborhood with a napkin over his face, 2 fully dressed sock puppets in tutus. I just keep saying,
and then he goes home to his blanket fort each night.
It's his prized possession. It's beautiful.
So, they have to leave each other, Cameron Diaz and Jude Law, and they haven't really decided on what they're going to do about the relationship. They're like, no rules, let's just see what happens, I guess. And she gets in the cab,
right,
and as she's pulling away, she starts crying, and then she starts laughing because she hasn't cried since she was 15.
Mm-hmm.
So then she runs all the way back,
and she walks into the house, and who's crying?
Jude Law.
Jude Law.
He cries all the time.
He says, I cry all the time,
and on the
baby.
ground, it's a napkin with glasses and a knife through it. He's like, I don't know what I did. And she's
Please help me bury the body.
You can't tell anyone about this. And she doesn't.
And she does. Yeah. It's really
but no,
nice of her.
she's crying because she left, and he misses her. He loves her. He's
Yeah.
to the
Crying
end.
too.
And she says, you know what? I could stay till New Year's Eve. And that's kind of how it resolves.
Cut to, they're all together, hanging out.
Yeah, the whole gang
Jack
is
Black,
together.
Kane Winslet. Kate Winslet.
Michael Caine Winslet.
Kane, the wrestler. And then the kids, they're all hanging. And we don't know what day it
They're
is.
all
And
having a
Jack
great
Black's
time.
with kids being cute. Jack Black with kids.
We couldn't tell if it was New Year's Day or if it was 1 year later.
Right. I don't know, because Kate Winslet and Cameron Diaz were hugging, oh, now we're best friends that this happened. Although Jack Black and Cameron Diaz, it didn't seem like they quite knew each other yet. They were did a fun dance-off thing. But
But they do know each other because he was good friends with her ex.
Oh, I guess that
So they
makes
must have
sense.
known
They
each
must
other.
have known each other.
Which is interesting.
So it's just a Love Actually situation where everyone knows each
guess.
other.
It was, because Kate Winslet said something about I want to see your Christmas presents. Open your, but then it was still, when was this?
I don't know.
Because they were having so much fun. I was like, is this a year later on Christmas?
I think it was just a
Just
a
New
week
Year's?
later.
New Year's Eve.
I think so. Nobody was wearing reading glasses.
But also nobody was wearing a New Year's Eve party hats or
They should have done the thing from They Came Together where someone walked by in the background and was like, it's New Year's.
Yes,
Happy
they
New
should
Year.
have. Wait, reading glasses? What did you mean by that?
To show that time had
To
passed.
show time had passed.
the
I
classic
understand.
John
Yes.
Mulaney
Classic
bit.
John Mulaney bit.
Yes.
And that's pretty much the holiday.
That is the holiday.
Yeah.
So why don't we take a little holiday of our own, and then we'll come right back and we'll rate this puppy.
Let's do that.
Scooby boop, bam doo boop.
And we're back. So we're gonna do this out of one out of 5 Fruitly Doos, I think.
In honor of our hero, Jack Black.
Jackson Black.
Jackson Blackson.
Jackson Blackson, his full name. So let's start this off with chemistry. What are we thinking?
I actually will rate this a little on the higher side.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I will too.
I thought as much as I was annoyed by the Cameron Diaz Jude Law plotline, I actually thought they did pretty well together. And Kate Winslet and Jack Black, honestly, maybe even slightly less than them.
I disagree. I know this is your opinion and you will give your number, but I
Yeah.
think the chemistry was better between Jack Black and Kate Winslet, but Jude Law was more charming, so it was it felt like chemistry. You know what I mean?
It might just be because they started getting together way earlier for me.
Yeah, for
Right.
a full hour of the movie.
Yeah, so
And-
I felt like there was more of a solid romantic plotline.
Right. Because theirs was more of a romantic plot line.
Yeah.
Yes,
As
for
we
sure.
got to see more of them together. So
Right.
as a whole, I think it was good. I'm gonna give it a 4.
Nice.
Yeah,
Okay.
I thought there was good chemistry.
I'll do 3.5, just a little bit lower than that.
I'll also do a 3.5 because it's yeah.
Yeah, it had they introduced Jack Black's character even 20 minutes earlier, I think it would have been higher. But truly, they didn't start their plot line until an hour in, and they weren't even like romantic prospects. It was like we saw Cameron Diaz and Jude Law kiss so many goddamn times in this movie, and we got one from Jack Black and Kate Winslet.
Yeah.
One really quick one.
Did they ever have sex?
No.
And unless they still haven't.
Unless there's a post-credit scene.
There's a post-credit scene, and it lasts 20 minutes.
Oh, it's the reason this is NC-17. Best friends?
Well, there aren't really any traditional best friends, but we'll give it to Arthur. Is that what we decided?
Yeah. I'm going to make a note, though, that the Jude Law Cameron Diaz plotline was very tedious, and I think it could have been diffused by having a best friend or friend's character.
Yeah.
If those two friends that Jude Law went out to dinner with became like sort of like more important characters, and they kind of like diffused it and were sort of like foils almost.
Yeah,
to
romantic
like them,
foils. Yeah,
I think that would have really like taken some of the strain off of
those two-person
yeah,
scenes.
because it was all just them, and the kids don't count because they're pretty useless. They're kind of placeholders for like more development between Cameron Diaz and Jude Law. So I think it was exhausting because it was them like taking on so much of the weight of those scenes. The same setting a lot of times. They're indoors at that cottage where like Jack Black, Kate Winslet had other characters, other locations. It breathed more.
They were out and about, yeah.
So because of that, I think that I personally have to take some points off because there wasn't a best friend role there and there needed one. But Arthur was a very good best friend role. So I'm going to land right in the middle at a 2.5. Arthur gets a full 5, and the fact that they just kind of crapped the bed in terms of Cameron Diaz and Jude Law gets some demerits from me.
Yeah. Yeah, in a better version of this script, there would be more supporting characters that were fun, like Arthur.
Yeah, like Catherine Hahn and John Krasinski could have come back somehow.
Yeah.
Or something. Yeah, I don't know.
Any opportunity for Catherine Hahn to have a lot of lines is good for me, but she had 2 lines, maybe?
All they had to do was write it, too. It was right there, like it was just easy.
Yeah.
It just didn't happen.
But then take out a lot of the tedious scenes we're sick of.
Yeah. And I'm sorry for monologuing at you guys. I just...
No.
I had that thought.
Yeah. So for my best friends, I'm going to join you on 2.5 because it's a 5 for Arthur and for the rest.
Yeah.
I'm going to go 0.5 up and just do a 3.
3?
Just because, I don't know, his scenes really shone in a movie that got kind of muddled.
You know what? Give me a 3 too. I really liked him. I cried. I actually did start to get emotional with his little award scene.
Yeah, that was it was weirdly like an E plot. It wasn't even like a third tier plot point, but it was a really sweet. I always thought like, oh gosh, I want to see what they're up to.
Yeah.
Like, get out of London or get out of Surrey. I want to. Yeah.
Yeah. Agreed.
So romance.
Mm-hmm.
I was exhausted.
I don't. Yeah.
That's the thing. I wasn't when I was watching it. I enjoyed myself when I was watching it. I was like giving little laughs, and I was mostly enjoying myself. I just talking about it now. Nothing stands out as something I really loved.
I have a question. Can we put this into romance? The moment when Kate Winslet was like, "Jasper, get out of my life." Is that? I mean, that's sort of an anti.
No, because that's not romance. That's personal.
Right.
She didn't do that.
She didn't do it.
Jack Black. I mean, to a point.
But it was more for herself.
It was self growth.
Because I think that's an important thing that we can't have.
Really rate.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's a good thing. We liked it.
Yeah.
I think most of this rom-com depended on the chemistry between the characters and not actual romantic scenes. There weren't any like grand gestures or
no. He wrote that song for her, but that never really
and it was
showed
just
up.
like him like doodling on chords, and it was just like sweet and cute and quick.
Right.
Yeah, there wasn't a lot of romantic scenes. It was more like for Jack Black and Kate Winslet, it was more like personal growth, and then that led them to having this like thing together. And Jude Law and Cameron Diaz, he was just like, "You're so interesting," and she was like, "I love you, I guess."
My mouth is too wide. Yeah.
I don't know what that means. I don't think it was. It wasn't very romantic. So I guess like a 2, I guess, because the chemistry made up for it. 2 might even be a little high, but I'll give it a 2. That sounds right.
I'm also gonna go with a 2. It works for me.
It had a romantic tone, but there weren't romantic scenes.
Sure, nothing that you can pick out. Yeah, I guess I'll do a 2 as well.
Comedy. Now this one's gonna. I didn't hate this movie.
There are parts I genuinely laughed.
Yeah, but overall, this is gonna skew probably lower than. It's not a reflection of how I felt about the movie,
Right.
But it's gonna be low just on the basis of comedy. So
Yeah.
honestly, a 1.5.
I'm gonna do closer to a 2. I gotta give it the comedy credit for, what it is.
I'm gonna side with Zach and go with a 1.5. It just wasn't like
Well,
I didn't hate the movie. And it was fun to watch.
yeah.
I was never like literally. I think when I saw Dustin Hoffman, then I was like, "Ha, that's a funny thing." But,
Yeah.
it was never like, oh, side splitting, I guess.
I laughed at Jack Black fruitily doodling.
Yeah, naturally.
Naturally, of
You're
course.
not a monster.
And I laughed at Mr. Napkin Head.
Oh, yeah, Mr. Napkin Head.
So, I don't know. I laughed where it was appropriate, and for that, I'll give it a 2.
Okay.
And last category.
Christmas spirit.
Zero.
Spirit.
Zero.
There's no Christmas
Yeah.
spirit.
Nobody even wore a Santa hat. I know
Yeah.
that's not like a sign of Christmas
It
spirit.
just happened to be Christmas. This could have been a summer movie
But
when
it
they had
didn't
holiday
even- It didn't
summer
even
vacation.
happen to be Christmas, because at one point they were like, oh yeah, it's December 24th, but nobody was like, time for carols. It was
No.
just a day.
I'm going to give it a 0.5 only because the cozy spirit of some of the settings reminded me of Christmas.
That's fair.
Yeah, it was cozy and tranquil. So I don't know. What, a 1? I'll do a 1.
I'm gonna. I don't know. You've convinced not 2.5.
A 5.
Too late. 0.5.
Okay. Still doesn't
Yeah,
help
it
too
could have.
much.
This could have been like a spring break movie.
Yeah.
Like it could have taken place at any time of the year.
Yeah, it was. Christmas spirit wasn't exactly there. And again, that makes it feel like we're ragging on it more. I
No,
didn't
I
hate this
enjoyed
movie.
myself.
I didn't hate
Yeah.
it.
It was too long, but I enjoyed myself.
It was not a horrible movie, and it was not a bad movie watching experience.
Right.
Because
But-
there's different things.
Yeah.
Yes. But with our system, it will probably rate low. We should probably figure that out.
And you know what? Sometimes when you dissect it, that's what you got to do.
Yeah. All right.
so let me
Let's see
add
how
it
many
up right
Fruity
now.
Doos this movie gets.
Can we say the number of Fruitly Doos when we, like, if it's 2.5, can we go Fruitly Doodly Da?
Sure.
Great.
All right, you guys ready?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
This movie gets 10.84 Fruity Doos out of 25. So just
Okay.
to do it, we got to do all those, right?
Yeah.
So
Oh my God.
Fruity
doodly 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 I'm losing count. Fruity doodly doodly.
Sick. Yeah, 10.84 out of 25. Not a great score. Not a bad score.
And I feel like it's not not a representation of how much I enjoyed the movie, but that's the rating, I
I
guess.
think if this movie were on Netflix, which it's not, unfortunately,
Yeah.
I think that if it were on Netflix and it were easy to watch around Christmas time and you had a night in with a cup of cocoa in your bed, this is a fine watch.
Yeah.
It's a fine watch.
It's a fine watch. Not a good movie, but it's a good watch.
Yeah.
No, it's a fine watch. I
It's a
want
fine
to
watch.
clarify.
It's a great watch.
I want to clarify that this is the best movie I've ever
Yeah.
seen.
I just want to clarify. It's a 25 out of 25. We fucked up. No. It's a fine, decent
fine-
watch.
Yeah.
I wonder why. I feel a lot of the movies we've seen lately are just a rom-com where they're just like, oh, it happens to be Christmas. I think Christmas can be very romantic and
I
very
think
sweet, and
so.
nobody's utilizing it.
Well, not the ones that we've watched.
No.
What ones are there? The Elf?
Elf
isn't
is
isn't
more
really
comedy.
a rom-com, though there
No.
are. Yeah. Love Actually, but you guys don't like that
Oh,
movie.
fucking hate
But I'm
Love
just
Actually.
listing. I'm
That-
just listing.
That was
ones.
almost our other Christmas movie. It was basically
Mhm.
between that or The Holiday, and we went with
The
We went
Holiday.
with The Holiday. So maybe next
You
year.
don't want to hear me rag on Love Actually for an hour,
I
do
think
ya?
we need a guest who really likes it, because that way Edward and the
Even.
guest can
Yeah,
debate one
yeah.
side and Haley and I can debate the other.
Maybe next year, guys.
Maybe next Christmas,
Maybe
but
next
for now,
Christmas.
Next Christmas, you
We'll
gave
do
me
Love
the
Actually.
holiday. The very next holiday, I gave it away. I'll keep going. This year, to save me from fruitly doos, I gave it to someone fruitlier.
Yep.
Anyway, no matter what you celebrate, we hope you enjoy the holiday season. Thank you so much again for listening. If you liked what you heard, feel free to rate and subscribe and write us a little comment or something. If you want to get at us on social media and be like, hey, you should do this movie, or hey, you suck. Well, that's not nice. Don't put that energy into the world.
Yeah.
But if you have something else to say, be like, hey, at meetcutecast on Twitter and Instagram. Or email us if you're shy at themeetcutecast@gmail.com. For all of us here, Fruitily Do, I'm Zach.
Fruitily do. I'm Haley.
Scottly Barrel, I'm Edward.
Bye.
Happy holidays.
Happy Christmas and Hanukkah.